My name is Jason Max Ferdinand, and I am an addict. Many of you in this room would say, well, Jason, you don't look like an addict. And to that, I choose to simply smile and let it go. But yes, I am an addict. Before I was able to admit to myself that I had a problem and do something about it through recovery, I had just as many misconceptions about who an addict could be. I used those misconceptions, that stigma that society puts on addicts, as a form of self-protection. I'm not homeless. I'm not sleeping in an abandoned car or some burnt-out building. Right now, I have a job, and I'm not walking the streets near the homeless shelter or scavenging for change under the interstate bridges. I don't think I smell, and hopefully my clothes are not ragged. You see, I tell myself these things to deny that I have a problem, but yes, I am an addict. It is evident to me that addiction and the activities as a result of my addiction crosses all socioeconomic lines. It doesn't respect skin color, sex, religion, backgrounds, or lifestyles. It affects all manner of people, from the homeless guy with his hand-painted sign begging for change, all the way up the social ladder to doctors and lawyers. In a bid to start my recovery process, I had to take a hard look at my past to see what may have triggered this. In my quiet moments, my mind took me to a pivotal moment in time. It was a frightful night, a lonely night, and a night filled with a myriad of questions. The night was frightful not because there was a hurricane blowing over my island or threats of severe flooding. There was no thunder, neither was there lightning. The night proved to be terrifying because there was a rumbling in my being that my life's work was in the balance. Was I going to continue in the science track? After having successfully completed advanced levels in physics, biology, and chemistry, the expectancy of my society was that I would become a doctor of medicine. I had at this point acceptance into the School of Medicine at the University of the West Indies. On the other hand, my parents always thought it fit that music lessons remained an integral part of the lives of their children. Yes, at times I absolutely loathed the formality of the instruction. However, there was never a question that I loved music. Progressive studies with the Royal Schools of Music program clearly showed that I was growing with formal piano and theory studies. So, on this night, the battle of the M's was in play. Medicine was the clear societal favorite and was throwing punches labeled money, maybe a better quality of life, prestige, influence, and did I say money already? Yeah. Music had these punches coming fast and strong. In the Caribbean, only musicians who did calypso and soca and dancehall made any kind of money. At least that was the thought then. I was so terrified that I decided that I could not stand in front of my parents and discuss this. So I took pen to paper and I wrote a letter. The letter in essence shared that I felt a strong urging to study music. Did I mention that I was terrified? My parents at that point were practicing educators. My dad was a university president, and my mom was an elementary school teacher who later became a university professor. I think my dad especially has always felt strongly about leading students down a path of what they wanted to study. My parents said a lot in that follow-up conversation, but the conclusion of the matter was that if I wanted to study music, I would have to leave the golden shores of Trinidad and Tobago to head to the United States. At Oakwood University, Dr. Lloyd Mallory served as my choral director. His artistry was a joy to behold. His mastery of nuance and vocal production was well known and absorbed by all the students. But my addiction was still being fed. Dr. Nathan Mitchell Carter changed my life as a graduate student as I matriculated at Morgan State University, serving as his graduate assistant. Dr. Carter was a firm disciplinarian, but it was always bathed in love and care. And he made sure to have this graduate student memorize the following quote by Michelangelo. The quote that says, "True art is made religious and noble by the mind producing it. For nothing makes the soul so religious and pure than the endeavor to create something perfect. For God is perfection, and those who strive after perfection are striving after God." Despite the discipline, my addiction was still being fed. Dr. Edwin McClary, a protege of Robert Shaw, saw something in this young man who now had 5 years of teaching experience. In 2005, the University of Maryland College Park served as my academic home. And Dr. McClary, with his meticulous lecturing and detailed rehearsal plans, his mastery at preparing choruses for Hilmut Rilling and many noted conductors, provided a first-class tutelage which served to prepare me for the spheres of university teaching. Yet, I was still not cured from my addiction. To be quite honest, I sunk further into the precipice of my habit. Turn to your neighbor and ask, what do you suspect Jason's addiction is? Just ask them. Look to the other person and ask them, is it possible that I can be an addict? Just ask them. Can anyone in this room relate? Can you relate to setting goals and accomplishing them? Isn't it a great feeling to take your ensemble through the minefields of tough rhythms, dicey intervals, and hard to relate to text and other musical considerations, then months later see them glow with smiles, having mastered the aforementioned task? Or perhaps in that culminating performance you saw tears of joy and or sorrow, with your singers emoting beyond your wildest imagination. Everyone know what dopamine is, right? Dopamine is a motivational chemical, and the release of dopamine into the bloodstream increases our ability to focus and motivates us to take action. Dopamine levels naturally rise as we get closer towards a goal and begin to anticipate a result. They tend to be highest when we are actively in pursuit of getting what we want. Serotonin is a feel-good chemical and is as calming and soothing as dopamine is energizing. When dopamine produces effort, serotonin provides the reward. We receive an increase in serotonin whenever we win anything or get some kind of public recognition or take certain drugs or alcohol, or we feel part of a crowd. Together, the interplay of dopamine and serotonin make the world go round. Higher levels of dopamine move us forward, and higher levels of serotonin provide feelings of safety, satisfaction, and curiosity. So yes, in a way, I'm addicted to success and to the interplay of those two. Because of this addiction, it necessitates that hard work is a familiar, consistent, and ongoing activity. For some, it has been repeated so many times that the meaning gets lost. The problem is that many of us are working hard, but for many of us, it seems like we are not getting anywhere. I have also come to realize that what many describe as hard work is really just regular work. That can be a whole different discussion, but I would like to posit there's 5 elements of hard work. 1, the drive. This is the engine that pushes us forward. 2, the plan. This maps out the course of action. 3, the grind. The grind is the point when working hard stops being fun and exciting and becomes tedious, stressful, and perhaps even discouraging. How you handle the grind is often what separates the winners from the quitters. 4, the sacrifice. This is the point when things can become uncomfortable. We face challenges with balance, home, life, finances, and so on. And 5, the payoff. This is the brass ring. In order for hard work to be worthwhile, you have to define a number of goals and milestones and recognize when you've achieved them. And once you do, you have to up the ante and keep going. I'm addicted to this next point. I'm addicted to the point that I will always have more to learn. I've also become obsessed with the realization that there is always something to learn. This speaks to my love of the craft. We all can learn something new from each other if we would only be open to realizing that everyone approaches a task differently. The next thing I'm addicted to is this. When one achieves some kind of public success, the pressure is then on to maintain this level of excellence. Sometimes that pressure can be large. Some, in fact, crumble under such conditions. For others, they use it as a springboard to propel to even higher heights. I have learned, however, that one has to realize that there will always be people who will never like what you do. So what do? You smile and you keep moving. In 2012, this choir behind me, probably a few different people, took a tour to the island of Jamaica. Yes, we did a few musical concerts, some master classes, and of course some tourist activities. However, the highlight of that trip was a visit we paid to a children's orphanage. This orphanage was specialized in that it housed children that were born with HIV or had contracted it after birth. It was very interesting as we drove closer to the orphanage that the bus became very, very quiet. And as I looked around the bus, I could tell that my students were trying to process how this visit would go. We were in possession of books and musical instruments and various items that we brought from the USA. We thought that we were going to be a big blessing to them. Well, we got there and started playing with the children, reading books to them, and playing various sports with them. And there's one young lady in particular that we would never forget. She was an amazing poet. Not only did she write gorgeous poetry, but she delivered the text with such passion and clarity. And after about 2 hours or so, it was time for us to leave. So we made a big circle around the children and began to sing our farewell song. And then all of a sudden, I could see eyes of the choir members just starting to well up with tears. The eyes of the children began to well up with tears. The caretakers that were looking on, they started crying. In moments such as those, who cares about the phrasing, intonation, tuning? It was very clear that the music was now a vehicle in reaching other human hearts. It took about another full hour for us to finally say goodbye. With all the societal deformities, what we do becomes critical, important, life-saving, and in essence, a huge tool in saving our society. The fact that we are all in this room lets me know that we are all addicted to touching lives. The other thing that I'm addicted to is a collaborative energy. As an undergraduate student in piano, and my undergrad teacher is sitting right over here, you'll meet him in a second, there was one aspect that absolutely drove me nuts. On some level, the preparation process does not allow for much human interaction. You spend all those hours just by yourself practicing. Despite being an introvert, getting together with another creative person to make something better than I could have done on my own was always such a gratifying experience. Collaborating with another musician can produce great creative results. At the very least, working with someone new can take you out of your comfort zone and introduce you to new concepts, be it choral, piano, whatever it is, and force you to up your game. In years past, I would sit in solitary confinement and try to come up with the best programs that I possibly could. Now, this was probably in part to the fact that there was no one around to help me do it. But in recent years, part of that process has become 50% more fun because I have a young faculty member who's with me that I taught in high school, and we go back and forth to these programs. And you should see us. We argue, we look at each other like, are you serious? You think that's going to work? Really? But there comes a point when we both say, yes, this is it. And I'm addicted to that pure energy and synergy that comes as a result of collaboration. One of my dearest mentors, his name is Wintley Phipps. You may have heard of Wintley Phipps, an amazing singer. I see some people going, yes, singer and preacher. He has this phrase that he's coined, you could Google it, and he says, "It is in the quiet crucible of your personal, private sufferings that your noblest dreams are born, and God's greatest gifts are given in compensation for what you have been through. Every time you overcome a challenge, it will lift you up, build you stronger, and make it easier for you to overcome your next trial. Surrender to that challenge, because if you don't, you will not grow as a result of it." if you succumb that challenge, you become better for the next time. So my name is Jason Max Ferdinand, and yes, I am an addict. I'm addicted to success, the journey of always learning, the pressure of constant delivery, seeing lives touched, and challenges greater than myself. I've learned to embrace that, and since you're in this room, I'm going to ask you, are you an addict too? Have you embraced it? Do you cultivate it? Turn to your neighbor and say, my name is blah, 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 and I am an addict. Just turn to them, ask them, tell them. The young people behind me are the 2019-20 iteration of the Aeolians of Oakwood University. I know this masterclass is labeled How to Make Your Choir, I don't remember what the title is, but we want to discuss some things that kind of work for us, and in so doing, perhaps you could get some things and some tools, and probably more important for us, we want to learn some stuff from you. So feel free to jump in at any time. We will need some people who want to participate in conducting. Don't all rush at the same time. Do we have any takers? Maybe not. Oh, okay, awesome. But as we get into this section, let me do this first, because maybe we could answer some questions more directly that way. Do any of you already have an idea of a question or some kind of rudiment or some kind of tool or some kind of skill you want to learn in this session? And we could jump right there right now. Go ahead. See one, I see two. Go ahead, sir. Yes? Yeah. Awesome. That's a great question. I can try and help. Yes, definitely. So I'll get to that. I'll remember that. The prayer by Moses Hogan we did at the conference last year, if you remember. Yeah, we did it with the conference choir last year. Yeah, so I'll come to that. Who had a question? Go ahead. Great question. I'm taking notes. Moses Hogan, stylistic commitment. Can I get two more as we start? I know more of you are going to jump in later. All right, so let's do this. Choir, could we stand? And you have in your packets a song by the title of Holy, Holy, Holy. If you just want to look at that for a second. Does everyone have the music? Yeah? So let's do this, Aeolian. So let's just sing through the whole thing, and then I'll come back and maybe look at some sections, and we kind of have some more discussion. Is that okay? All right, so this is after lunch, right? So excuse the, it's rough. Ready? So let's use that as a springboard for this discussion, this demonstration. If we could just go back to that first phrase the choir sings right at the beginning of the piece. Was there anything that sticks out there to you? Good, bad, the ugly? Go ahead.
I think it is amazing that you have however many individuals that are up there, and they're all expressing themselves individually, but they're creating a unified sound. And to come to this with such passion, and to come to this with such conviction, what is your background? What is it that makes you you? Praise God for you guys.
Anybody want to answer that before I jump in? Chad, just stand as we answer so they could hear.
I'm Chad Nicole. I'm a tenor in the choir, first tenor. And one of the things that I bring to the choir is my journey. I graduated in 16 with a marketing degree, worked for a year, and then came back in the fall of 2017 to pursue music. So the fact that I'm back studying the things that I love so much makes me want to put my passion and my all into everything that I do. If you watch me for the rest of the day, I'll probably be the most animated up here. It's because I really take performance seriously, and it goes to the commitment that somebody was talking about. We'll get to that later. But yeah, I'm just committed to make the best sound possible, committed to the music, committed to conveying the message of the song.
Anybody else want to jump in there? I could. That's a great answer that Chad gave. I could. Can I elaborate on that a little more? And let me do it by this way. Let me just turn my mic off so I could tell them something. All right? Could you all stand? Does this look and feel different to you? Here we go. Ready? And. Different? In what way? But what were they doing differently? It sounds fine to me. It sounds fine. They're just standing still. Oh, really? Wow, okay. They took the emotion. But isn't that how most of our choirs sing, though? So so why don't we just change it? Now, seriously, I grew up, no piano, just right at the beginning there, the same way, 3 and 4. Keep going. This is how I was taught. You stand still and you sing, all right? Stop, I can't take too much more of that. But, so let me keep starting for a second. In 2007, let me give you a brief story, and it'll click for you, hopefully. So I was at the University of Maryland Chamber Choir, Chamber Singers. Amazing group. The singers were, I didn't even know how I was in the group. The group was that good, right? Amazing singers. And we took the group over to Wales to enter into in English, the Choir of the World competition, 2007, right? We had an amazing set. We were doing some Poulenc, we were doing some Rachmaninoff. Amazing music. And we were on it. And we get to the competition, and in about 2 of the categories, we would sing first, and then we'll go sit down, and other choirs would come up. And invariably this other choir would come up, and I was just sitting there like seriously, where do you guys come from? It was so engaged. The faces were, if you put them on mute, you could still tell what they were singing about. And I just said to myself, man, one of these days I'm going to have a choir that looks just like that. Fast forward 10 years later, right? So between those 10 years, I'm on YouTube and I'm always following this choir. And same thing, just always engaged, never met the conductor, never spoke to any of the members. 10 years later, this same choir goes to that same competition, 2017, right? Sing the first day, and the second day I'm just kind of walking around. And guess who I bump into? One of the judges. You know who that judge was? The same guy that was conducting that choir in 2007. Which, by the way, they happened to win the Choir of the World back in 2007. And he stops me and he says, man, it's real weird. I look at your guys sing and it reminds me of my choir. And I gave him that whole story I just gave you. His name is Bruce Rogers, and he has this real fun, non-stuffy way of approaching choral music. Non-stuffy, I'm using that word, because to me, that's how we were taught, right? And the second we started doing it, now, let's do one thing at a time. Just watch this. Could you sing it the same way, no affect in the face, but just move a little bit? Actually, we need to do it 2 ways. So don't move at all the first time, then I'll just follow what I'm doing, right? No effect, nobody. Ready? And go. Now, for you to get this, you have to listen real carefully, right? Because the differences are real subtle. All right, do it one more time, same thing. Ready? Go. I'm not going to conduct, because my conducting could affect the sound, right? Now, do it this time, same effect in the face, but just move a little bit, Delcros. 2, T, and 4. Okay. I hear a difference already. Do you? What's the difference in the sound? The connection is there. It has more shape, more line. All right, now face and body, like you normally do. 1, 2, T. Stop. It's it's like night and day, right? So in concerts, they'll tell you, I could close my eyes and tell if they're moving or if they're not moving. It just affects the sound. Now, here's the fun part. So we need a few people, a few volunteers. So that's them just singing on their own. I haven't added anything yet, which, by the way, is a concept I've been really toiling with this the last month. a group like this, they could really sing the whole song without me, right? Yes? So then what's the point of me being up here? So I've been toying with this concept called value added. Value added. What do I add? What can I add to this to make it better? It could be any level. A choir at this level, a choir high level, a choir lower level. What do I bring that they don't need? Could you do the whole first verse? When you could play it without me. I'm not going to do anything. Just the first verse. 1, 2, in the regular way. 2, 3, and 4. All right, good. So now, how do I step in and add value to that? Any ideas? Focus, connection. What else?
I think what you add is what Robert Shaw used to say. There's a lot of stuff in music that's not on the printed page.
All right.
There's no dynamics in this anywhere. You are bringing that out.
Sweet. He's just taking me there where I want to go. Awesome. That's great. Did you sing with Robert Shaw?
I did not. One of my best friends was his lead tenor in Atlanta. So all I have stolen from my church choir,
Yeah.
I have stolen from other people.
I would love to.
I am an unapologetic thief.
Hey, I'm an addict, you're a thief. I would love to talk to you after so I could steal too. Okay, go ahead. Is that Cindy? Yeah. Right. You could hear her. She was talking about the syllabic stresses. So for us, it hopefully is intuitive now with them. They see the two-word syllables. They know stress, de-stress, unless I say something different. Take a seat for a second, guys. So that's something we work on a whole lot. And then the catch is, with music, right, is not just good enough to do the skill, but you have to put it in a subtleizer, like I call it. Like, it can't be too obvious that it's the distraction. Well, let me say that a different way. I don't like when I'm sitting in the audience listening to a choir, and I could see and listen to everything they practiced in rehearsal. I just want to sit here and enjoy the music. Take me for the ride, but I don't want to say, okay, right there they did loud. Okay, they must have practiced that. You know what I mean? It just takes, at least for me, it just kind of takes away. So everything needs to kind of subtleize, but we do work a lot on those stresses. So anyone want to come up here and add some value? We have all, come. Do you have it? You should have it in your folder.
I do.
You don't? Let me get one for you. So this is, Monica is your name, right? Monica is a Seventh-day Adventist, right? And Monica, correct me if I'm wrong, you went to Andrews University, and she's finishing up her DMA right now. So she knows what she's doing. Oh, you got one. All right. So let me give you my stand. And have your way. So just the first verse. Choir, you could stand, and let's just see what Monica does. Whatever you want to do. very impressive. Huh? I mean, she obviously added value to what was going on, right? Right? And so, Monica, you tell us, I mean, how did that feel? What does that feel like for you?
Amazing. My choir members are not here. They're attending some other parts of the. Yeah, to have such a responsive instrument. Yeah, it's just power. It's just like, oh, what else can I do? And I don't have a plan.
Ha! Wait, stop. Could you say those last two sentences again?
I did not have a plan.
And what did you say right before that? Remember?
Oh yeah.
She was saying, what more they were so responsive, it makes me think, what else can I do? What else can I do? And you did not have a plan. Now,
What you did was so great that I couldn't do more than what, like the way you already had that.
no. No. So look, could I, quiet, take a seat for 2 minutes. Could we linger there for a little while? Because it wasn't until I became deep into, I'm saying deep like I'm that old, but in the classroom you kind of taught to have a plan, execute the plan, right? For the most part, even outside of music, right? Physics, here's the formula, you apply the formula, you get here. Chemistry, here's the formula, boom, right? All that stuff. But I think in music, after we do all the putting together and all the rehearsal, to me, there should come a point again where it could be way more organic than we approach it. Because then why do we need the conductor if everyone already knows the plan? Think about it. If at bar 30, everybody knows it's going to be forte, it's going to be a tenuto there, then why have her up here? Everybody knows that. Just do it, right? One of the things they'll tell you, I say it all the time, especially beginning of the year, we learn the song, but when we get to the performance, you better be watching, right? Because anything could happen at any given moment. And an ensemble that's really good, that's the beauty of it. You could do anything you want at any given time. Now, really, it's not you doing it, but because a lot of times I'm like not thinking, okay, I'm getting ready to do this. I don't know, it just happens. And that's the organic thing I think we miss in choirs a lot of times. I don't care if it's your church choir or elementary school choir. I had a senior choir when I worked at Metropolitan Baptist. I mean, and at first they didn't like the surprises at all. Because knowing the plan is comfortable, right? Just comfortable, just cruise through. But when they started experiencing that feeling of, oh my gosh, this is way more exciting, then they're like, all right, we follow, let's go. What are you going to do now? You know what I mean? So you did that so well. Could you do the next part? The a cappella section? So wait, maybe give them the interlude and then take it to the a cappella. Let me see what you have.
Do you have another score?
Yeah, that's interesting. So let me start here. I'll take you through here, and then you take it back over there. That works?
Sure. Or just pretend for 2 minutes.
Just pretend. Good. You got it. She's doing what she wants. You see it? She's slowing down there right there. And this is the part you don't have. That's fine. It's fine. Very, very, very good. Very, very good. You okay?
Yeah.
All right. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So let me go to some kind of real rudimentary things, some tools. If this doesn't work for you, feel free to toss it out the window, right? Maybe about 4 years ago, I was doing a rehearsal. In the middle of rehearsal, I'm talking to myself in my head. And I asked myself the question, what does mezzo forte mean? I mean, really, what does that mean? Medium loud. Okay, what does that feel like? See, exactly. You can't tell me. What is forte? Loud. How loud?
Conductor's choice.
Conductor's choice loud. I like that. Okay. What is piano?
Well, I would tell the choir members, even if there are legit definition, even for the dynamics and even for the tempo, allegro or piano,
Yeah.
mezzo forte, they all mean follow the conductor.
Yeah. So I don't know why it was bothering me so much that I couldn't quantify any of these dynamics. And then the next thing I realized too, if we take all the traditional dynamics, right? PP, P, MP, MF, F, FF. I mean, we rarely get a FFF, right? So how many dynamics is that? Six? Am I counting right? Does that feel kind of limiting? 6. Okay. So I went home that night. I was like, okay, there has to be a different way to do this. Because if I ask you to conduct them and conduct a forte, and then Monica comes right behind you and conducts a forte, and he comes and conducts a forte, and I come and we'll have 4 different fortes, right? So it's just hard to quantify. So we came up with this little simple, I'm embarrassed. It's so simple, I'm embarrassed to show it to you. But it works for us. Can I just show you what it is real quick? So quiet, let's not, we're just gonna be like C major. So what we did was attach numbers to our dynamics as opposed to this Italian business. And the first thing we had to establish was what the softest was going to be. Now, I had to define soft. Soft meaning the softest we can sing without getting too brittle. The softest we can sing without it being uncomfortable. Right? So it takes a little while to establish that. So I'll kind of show you, I'll do the fast version. So choir, just sing for me on 1, right? And we actually say the number, 1 or 2, whatever it is, right? Sing 1, ready, and 1. Now to me that sounds brittle, like kind of, so I'll ask them to kind of beef it up and let's establish the 1 again. Ready? 1 is. A little more bass, a little less tenor. 3 and 1. Okay, so let's call that 1, the softest we could possibly sing without it being too brittle, right? Then all we simply did was initially we went from 1 to 8, 1 to 8, right? Just go up for me, ready, and 1. All of a sudden I have 8 different dynamics. Does that make sense? You following what I'm doing? Now, they're used to doing this, so they do it. Initially, you do that with your choir. It's going to take a long time to get that even. But then what starts happening is muscle memory kicks in, and they know exactly what 8 feels like in their own voice. Because, Azrael, raise your hands for me. Raise your hand, and let me see. Andre, raise your hand. Keep it up. So the choir is at an 8, but Azrael knows what 8 feels like in his voice. Andre knows what 8 feels like in his voice. And it may be 2 different feelings. But collectively, we know what that dynamic is. Muscle memory kicks in and they could do this, right? Sing 8 for me. And 8. That 8 was louder than the 8 before, but you kind of get the point. 4 and 6. 1. 3. 2. In between that, right? You get it? So all of a sudden, boom, boom, we have 8. Now, over the years, we stretched it. I think, what do you do now? 10? I think we got to 13 one time. So let's do this. Let's do 1 and try and even it out all the way to 15 just for kicks. 2, 3, 4. That was too fast right there. So between 5 and 6, you went up a little too quick. You felt it? Yeah, so save. 1, 2 more. Ready again. And 1. Yes. Yeah? Yeah? So all of a sudden, I went from having 6 possibilities to 15.
How do you consider the vowels into that sound?
Oh, that's so, okay, great question, but totally different silo. I'll come to that in a second, but yeah. Right now, I'm just exploring the power of my group. All right, I'm thinking of them as like an orchestra. When I need that power, do I have it? And what is my range? Yeah? Any other questions on that? Does that make sense? It makes sense to me. So now that when we rehearse, instead of mezzo piano or something, I'll say put a 4 there, or put an 8 here. This is a big section, put 13. And everybody automatically knows what that feels like.
Any specific wording that you use to help them know how to produce healthy soft and healthy loud?
Well,
Ones and 13.
you use the word just now that tells any singer, trained singer, or any non-singer that does something to the brain. You use the word healthy, right? Open, relaxed, free of stress, free of tension, healthy. So you answered already, and without getting too deep and technical. And then what helps us is, fortunately I work at a school, and how many voice majors we have? Right. So Mark is not here this semester, but we have some of the voice majors will help some of the other singers with the technical stuff, or I'll even bring in the voice teacher, and she or he will come in and give these tips. But and church choir environment, we can do that in our church too, yeah? Find your nearest university or your voice teacher in the community and bring them in. Make a huge, and stuff like that we just don't do in church. Why is that? Just go find them. I'm sure they'll love to come. Just ask them, right? Just ask them to come in. Any other questions on that dynamic thing? I love dynamics. I love singing soft. That's one of my favorite things. I love soft. Everybody can sing loud. I love the softs. Go ahead, Monica.
Yeah, I would say something. So the dynamic change, the sudden dynamic change that you used in a Holy, 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 which would say more traditional, anthems, or even classical. I've heard you sing classical repertoire, and you use this sudden changes in dynamics for phrasing purposes, and it's so different than what most choirs do because we're afraid of making such sudden changes. But so this is more, I would say, I would apply that more to spirituals and gospel music. Instead, as the prayer say it goes better, but I'm like, oh no, we don't do that in I don't know, Mendelssohn or.
Yeah.
But I've heard you do it, and that's amazing.
Oh man, you.
I applaud you for being brave in a way.
Oh man.
To us, it sounds like it's a step.
Have you seen some of my notes or something somewhere? Have you seen some of my notes somewhere? Okay. I'll tell you why. Because you just articulated some things that I feel strongly about. The first thing you said was something about being brave. Like I said in my little talk, there'll be people who will never like approaches or how we do stuff. Let me give you an example. When I just went to Oakwood in 2008, could you give me E major? And could you just start the a cappella section, just sing it with a lot of vibrato. Just 2, 3, and. And, without getting too specific, all the Aeolian sound for years was just that. In every song, every style, everything. Which is, I'm not knocking it. But I mean, in the choral world now, we can't sing a Renaissance piece like that, right? We couldn't sing Bach with all of that vibrato. So then when I get there and we take the vibrato off, and we got a lot of flack, like, who do they think they are changing the sound? Blah, 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 blah. Now, I could have said, you know what, let's just go back and do the all, or just keep trucking forward, right? We hardly hear from those people anymore. And there's no way we could sing Bach like that, right? The other thing you said, Monica, and this is something I'm talking to everybody. I'm answering her question, right? I strongly believe in, I was just talking to them about this, not in music, but just in life. But this whole cross-fertilization when it comes to our art form, I'll say this name a lot, Bruce Rogers. I mean, he's like my biggest inspiration. So Bruce Rogers conducts the Mount San Antonio Community College Choir in California, right? This is a guy I talked about earlier who, all right. I haven't confirmed this statistic, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Bruce has performed in more national and regional ACDA conventions than anybody alive. What a lot of people don't know about Bruce is his vocal jazz group has won the Downbeat magazine Best Collegiate Group for the last 12 or 13 years in a row. Where am I going with that? Because very subtly, Bruce merges the two worlds all the time. I'll see him singing some Renaissance thing, but I'm like, wait, that's a jazz kind of thing he just did. And I think more choral directors need to, I'm not saying become an expert in every style, but at least be familiar with some of the characteristics of different styles. Because that's the only way you get to kind of fuse. Otherwise, you're kind of just stuck in, well, I just do this. And could I be real? When we sang Bach for ACDA, you know what's driving that behind? You don't see it, but for us, jazz was behind that. The swing. That's what we were feeling. We weren't feeling bump, bump, dump, bump, 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 bump. It'll go nowhere, but we had, could you give me E flat? You all remember this? It's been a while. So, I'm trying to remember. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, let's just do that much. Let's do that much. Let's do the acapella so they could hear it. Just sing it straight up. 1, 2, 3, and a 4. Yeah, I mean, it sounds fine. It sounds fine, right? It sounds cool. Now, could you think of it with the backbeat? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and It sounds different, right? And which one do you prefer? The second one, at least I do. But you see my point? The only way we could implement that is if we kind of knew a little bit about jazz and the backbeat. If we didn't, we couldn't even experiment with it. So it's that cross-fertilization thing. Another example I could give you is one comment we hear a lot after our ACDA performance was, I don't know, seemingly the way we went from style to style, but kind of staying true to whatever the style was. So to go from that, and then to go to, give me F major. You can, ready, and you can smile when you can say a word, and you can smile when you cannot see, and you can smile when it's cloudy or fair. You can fly anytime. there's no way I could do this piece if I have no kind of jazz background, right? Or have some appreciation. Yeah, stop. All right, cool. So the only way that could happen successfully is one, the director has some kind of knowledge, and then you have to share that knowledge and that excitement to them to pull that stuff off. Otherwise, you have to do a program of just what you know, and you're not having any of this happening. And I think that's the beauty of, I always call that cross-fertilization between the styles. I want to start answering your question a little bit about stylistic things in the spirituals, and I think you've mentioned Moses Hogan, and what was the other piece? Yeah. Okay. What spiritual do we have in the bank now? Gospel Train might be the only one, yeah? Okay. So, I'm answering his question, but I'm talking to everybody, right? I guess the first thing you have to ask yourself is, where did this music come from, right? Where did the spirituals come from? We know the answer. The slaves came over here, and the Negro spiritual is the original American art form, right? It came from a place of deep hurt and deep pain. You have to know that in order to convey it properly. The other considerations would be, you have to realize why they sang them. So one obvious reason is they sang spirituals to buoy their spirits, to try and keep hope alive, right? 2, they used spirituals as a form of communication, right? They had so many codes in these songs. So like they'll say something as simple as, when I fall on my knees with my face to the rising sun. Seems like a simple sentence, but in that sentence is embedded time and direction. When I fall on my knees with my face to the rising, that's time, sun rises in thee. All right, so they're going to make a break for it. So to buoy their spirits, communication. The third reason, so many of the spirituals have Bible stories. It was their way of passing on stories from one generation to the next, because they didn't walk around with Bibles. Even if they had a Bible, they couldn't read it. All right? So we have to kind of go back and realize how these songs came about. The same way we study Bach for performance practice, or Brahms, we have to go back and figure out the performance practice of these spirituals. So, and then you go and you look at some of the characteristics of spirituals. We know they have a lot of call and response. If I go, swing low, sweet chariot. Right. We know that because it's so embedded into us. So call and response. We know that a lot of the spirituals have this phenom in music that starts with an S. Is a rhythmic thing. It starts with an S. What's that? Syncopation. We know a lot of them are syncopated. Right? We have to know that. Another thing about spirituals when it comes to the rhythm is, especially in the Jubilee, faster spirituals, the whole concept of keeping a steady pulse and not letting your choir run away on you, unless you just kind of want that effect. But the spirituals and the feel of the spiritual has to be steady, especially the older ones. So you have to kind of know a lot of those things, and then you start making judgment calls with interpretation. I wish we had an older spiritual in the repertoire we could do. Like, how many people know True Religion? Oh, okay. Let me see. We haven't done this all yet, but could you just, those of you who know it, could you just stand? Let me hear it. So this is Roland Carter's arrangement of You Must Have That True Religion, right? We haven't done this all yet, so let me just hear what it sounds like first. Let's do an F sharp. F sharp, right? 1, 2, that. Good. I'll use that as the example. So you have that music in front of you. I'm going back to your question. How now do you start What word would you use? Interpret?
I was saying
Stylistic integrity. Okay. So let's do a couple of silos by themselves first. How would you think of color for a song like this? Color. Is it darker? Is it brighter? Is somewhere in the middle? What is it?
I would say a brighter declamatory, because the person, you got to make it, if you're not converted by the end of this song, we want you converted.
So you say brighter color? Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Any thoughts on that? You would go the other way. Why?
Because I want a fuller sound.
So she, right. So she wants to go the opposite way, so darker. Okay. And look, great. Anybody else? Anybody in the middle somewhere?
I think the term dark and bright it has to do more with the tallness.
Yeah.
Because then you get deeper, lower, not
Yeah.
darker. I don't know.
I see what you're doing. Okay.
It's because like it really sounds like it's rounded, tall to me.
Okay. All these are great answers. Anybody else over here? What, in terms of just color, how would you hear it?
Doesn't the chord, so the voicing of the chord dictate that?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have the bottom round.
Yeah.
And so there's the voicing of the chord that actually dictates a lot, I think.
Yes. He got deep. And let me address that separately, because there's something we do for that too. So let's play around with the dark light thing, and let's see which one we kind of, and again, 1, 2, 3. If 4 of us do the song, we could do it totally different, right? But these are all considerations. But as my teacher would say, have a reason for doing what you're doing, right? Don't just say, well, it just feels good. Could you just sing it overly dark? Overly dark. 1, 2, 3. Sopranos, hello, wake up. F sharp. C sharp, F sharp. 1, 2, and. Okay. Like, do it overly bright. Overly bright. 1 and 2 and T. Can you do it again? Just sing it more forward, and not necessarily a twang thing, but just brighter, right in here. 1 and 2 and T. And. All right, cool. Okay, so we heard the dark, we heard the brighter thing. What's your name? Steve. So, could you just sing it right in the middle for me? Like, say this black, white, like put it. Yeah, like a nice solid gray. 1 and 2 and a T. You know what's pretty interesting, Steve? So let me show you. Let me see who I'm looking at. Some of them are a little young, so they may not know. Could you sing this with me like the Aeolians from 1975? Some of them know that. They know. No. Oh, so the Aeolian song in 1975 was under the direction of this one of our well-known directors, Alma Blackman. That choir, their bass section, I wish I could just take them wherever I went. I mean, their basses were just rumble as floor. I mean, you have like 20 guys singing low C's and that kind of stuff. But the sound was like this. It was in your face. It was boom. Let me see if they could emulate it. Some of them don't know what I mean at all, but let's try it. All right? C sharp, D sharp. 1 and a 2 and a T. And that's pretty good. That's kind of like the 1975 Aeolian sound. I don't even know how you describe that. How do you describe that sound? Yeah, it's this. Thank you, right. Beefy. Yeah. So there's some things when we pull in the repertoire, like something like this, I might say we need to go to that. Or we bring it up to 2020 to their kind of sound, and it's more sheen and shiny and I don't know, sophisticated, maybe is that the word I want to use? Polished. Could you do it like, just do it like how you, 1 and 2 and a T. Fine. Now, can I do one more thing? Could you mix the two? Yeah, right, exactly. Could you mix the two? So take the energy of the 75 and put a little sheen on it, and let's see what we come up with. Just think that through for a second. 1 and a 2 and a T, yeah. If I were doing this song all over again, I would start from there.
What you're doing is, part of my recording studio times, removing the EQ around that.
Right.
To maximize.
Exactly. Yeah, you heard what he said? Yeah, exactly. So if I were creating my palette, if I were teaching this song right now, I would start there and then kind of make, now, could you go from, what's that part? Oh, give me that true religion, towards the end? Man, you know what I'm talking about? True religion, true religion, true religion, true religion, true second tenor, true religion. You know I am, right? 1 and 2, oh, give me that true religion. Do that again so we get more people on board. One more time. And I stop. So in the music, if you could see it in your head, the music just says true religion, true religion, true religion, true religion, true religion, true religion, true. Could you just sing it straight up, no style? Just true religion, just notes. Oh, 1, 2, ready, and That's exactly how he has it in the music, right? So, I mean, all of us here, we could use our musical knowledge and say, hey, let's just emphasize a certain beat or whatever it is. So we could do something like this. Just follow me. Ladies, take a seat for a second. 1, 2, same place, guys, ready, and go. So you want to do that, and then when we go, something like that, just to give it some shape, right? I didn't hear. Could do it. How much? Yeah, of course I know King Singer. I've heard that arrangement. Yes.
If I were conducting, which I'm not.
You should come up and do it.
Well, but I can do that from a piano. My hands are
Go ahead. Okay.
But if I were doing it, maybe trying to let them hear a little of that and mix some of that.
Yeah. So you're talking about letting your groups listen to different things, which is something we do a lot too, right? We listen, yeah. But so Steve, you could start there, and then something I would do too is pick up a phone, and like you talking to me now, and just ask, hey, I'm doing such and such a song. Some of my biggest decision-making processes came from my teacher, who knew people like William Dawson personally, or he knew Hall Johnson personally. My teacher would tell me stories. Oh yeah, I used to go to Hall Johnson's apartment in New York when I was at Juilliard. I mean, that's the craziest thing, right? Or I would go spend weekends at William Dawson's house. And he passed that stuff down to me. Like Ezekiel saw the wheel. You know that? You guys don't know that, right? The Dawson Ezekiel saw the wheel? No, not that one. Sit, guys. So it's always so much controversy about the tempo for Ezekiel saw the wheel, right? Is it fast? Is it slow? Is it whatever? Or you have to realize too, in that era, there were a lot of typos in print, right? I mean, print was like a new thing. So like Hall Johnson, his setting of oh Elijah rock, shout, Elijah rock, coming up, Lord. Oh, which is the arrangement you hardly ever hear anymore. There's a tempo marking on the top of that thing that is just one. If you really follow that tempo mark, it makes no sense musically. But a lot of people try to follow it. But my teacher luckily would say, Jason, I'm telling you, that is a typo. Hall Johnson told me that himself. So all of a sudden, it takes on a different thing because you have the knowledge. So, pick up the phone and call the Roland Carters or call somebody who he taught. I mean, it's just really, really eye-opening or a-opening, how you want to look at it, right? Cool. Go ahead. We haven't heard you. No, go ahead.
Can you talk about enunciation and how you work through that? How you develop
Okay. What else do you have in your packet? Just remind me. Let me answer your question and use one. Yeah, let's go with let's go with examine me. So enunciation. I'll never forget the moment I had, this is years ago, the moment I had when I played a cassette and I was like, wow, I could understand every word they're saying. I mean, sometimes we listen to music and we miss a lot of stuff, and all of a sudden you hear a chord and it's like, wow, I could understand what they're saying. So let's use this one as an example. I won't sing the whole thing, but let's, choir, could you just sing this for me and just do, how do I tell you to do this? No emphasis on diction, just say the words. Let's go from the top. Keep going. All right, stop. Okay. I mean, could you hear the words? Yeah, I mean, it's there. I hear it, and you're looking at it too, so that helps. But how would it sound if they did it like this? Let's just start right on it, where the ladies come in. So go back to the right, our way. And G right there. Just give me the first pitch. Right at the beginning. 1, 2, ladies, ready, and. Understand more of the words now, right? I don't know if I have a serious method for this. One, I just like a lot of disappearing endings. So, could you go from with thee, Lord, I'm blessed with the guys? Yeah, right there. 1, 2, ready, and. With thee, Lord, I'm blessed. Keep going. So that's a good salvation. So kind of let's see our ball bouncing. The na is the ball coming back up. Salvation, na, Lord. So I like a lot of those. That's just my personal preference. And then all the little consonants in between, when it fits, I like to hear them pop. Because I think it just kind of brings the stuff out of the page. Now, there might be times like words like Little. There might be songs I'll say, let's do little. But if the song is a more lush kind of quietude thing, I'll say little. I mean, so you just have to kind of know, you know, it's not as one is right or wrong, it's just how you feel it. So that's just beginnings, THs, the. I like hearing the buzz. I think it just gives it more life and certainly helps with intonation because you have to voice it, right? So it establishes that pitch right away. Those are some of the things I think about when it comes to that enunciation thing. Uh-huh.
It's not in this piece, but I'm remembering from Holy, 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 the darkness, the caves. Those are
Yes.
the hardest ones. How do you work on a cave?
Ah, man. I don't know that we have a method. How do we do that? Again, it's just trying to find those consonants embedded in the middle of words. Darkness. Darkness. Could you just say it? Darkness. Again. Darkness. You do it. Ready? Go. Darkness. Yeah, you can do it. That's it. Yeah. And you know, a lot of these things are not really hard. You just have to kind of keep doing it until it becomes second nature, second nature, second nature, second nature. So you get it. Yeah. Now, you asked me a question. Monica, let me get you a question, and I want to answer something he asked earlier.
Observation. The expression of the text.
Yes.
I mean, just stripping them away from that when he told them not to emphasize text or be accurate. It just took away from exclusivity and meaning as well. So many times, just saying, I think it works for me because I have no time. I have 5 minutes until the service says, express the text, and all of a sudden it's like it switches into a much better version.
Yeah. Good. Everybody take us a chat. Come on, do something for me. And let's say, could we do, let's put them in, could we put them in, let's put them in B flat. And could we just sing a little bit of Amazing Grace? Amazing Grace. In B flat. Just give me a little introduction. Just pretend it's a solo moment. And try to do the first time just real plain. Just stand up singing. All right, fine, good. And I called Chad up because he told you when he introduced himself earlier that he's into, Chad, when it comes to our choreography and stuff, he's the one that leads that off because he's big into, he could probably go to Broadway. So Chad, what considerations do you make if you had this as your solo piece to bring it off the page? What do you...
I consider the words. What does it say? Is an aspiration good there because of the desperation in the text, or do I need to not do that there? The lines, do I need to pull it more? Do I need to put a nuance there? Those kind of things.
All right, so this is a Cliff Note version, so let's assume you had weeks to think about that. Now do it again with all those things you would consider. So as a choir director, here's what I take away from something like that, right? I'll sit back and say, okay, so that's a soloist doing that on his own. So clearly he made decisions on how he was going to paint the text, how he's going to express the text, and he speaks of this word in English, rhetoric, right? Like you say in a Shakespeare poem, the rhetoric is there. So what would happen if I have a choir of 40 people that approached it in a similar way? Is it possible? Remember that quote I gave you? Striving after perfection is the goal. It may not be totally possible, but in trying to do it, you could gain a ton of results. If you had 40 chats doing that same thing, what would that feel like? And I think it's something we don't even talk to the issue with our choirs. The whole issue of, I mean, it's tough. Is everyone being totally vulnerable? Is everyone in your choir willing to admit that at some point they were lost? Because that's what he was just saying, right? Can you get your choir to be 100% vulnerable? Maybe, maybe not, but at least I think we need to try. Most of you know the name James Jordan, right? James Jordan, he's written all those books, and the books he became famous for initially was the book called The Musician's Soul. I remember in that book he gave a story, and I forget the exact story. I think his father was the one who passed or something. So he left his school, he left his choir at school, and had to go to Pennsylvania to bury his dad or whoever the person was. And he said in his book when he came back to his choir the next week, he was listening with a totally different set of ears. Because all of a sudden he was just opened up emotionally. And you know what, that probably answers a question. Okay, so we did our concert on Sunday, right? What time was our concert? The concert was at 3 o'clock Central Time. I literally parked my car at the concert site, and I'm getting out, and my wife says to me, "Hey, Jason, your sister just texted and said something about Kobe died." I'm like, come on, man, that's. What did I say to you all after that concert about, was that one of the best concerts of the year? Right? And it was strange because all of a sudden, I mean, you could feel it. Even right now, I still feel like I'm in a totally different place than Sunday in terms of just reality of life, right? So going back to what I was saying, imagine if you could get your singers at the moment of leading the congregation, performing the song, ministering the song, if you could get people to that place some kind of way to minister the song, it'll be totally amazing. And most choral directors probably will never experience that in their entire lives, or maybe experience it once. But I think we all need to strive for it, because I'll tell you, it's one of the most gratifying feelings. And then you know what it does after that? Because you know what it feels like, you try to find it every time. And even if you don't find it, you'll be much of a higher level than if you weren't even thinking about it. And I could truthfully say, and I'm very humble, I've experienced a lot of those moments in my career. I mean, I could give you story after story after story where the students were singing, but it wasn't their voices coming at me. Or those times when, I mean, one of my first experiences of feeling this was, I taught high school for 7 years, right? Any high school teachers in here? One, okay. Or you deal with high school level people at your church or something. I mean, high schoolers, the great thing about that age group is that they will practically do almost anything you ask them to do musically, because they really don't know any better. They'll just jump in and do it, right? And they'll give you 200%, just have that energy. I'll never forget one spring tour. We got to the last weekend, so we did the first weekend, the whole week, got to the last weekend. And that last Saturday, we did our church service, I'm sure. We were in Boston. And then for some reason, we had a 3 p.m. concert at a small little church. Where's Aaliyah? Right, I can't remember the name of the church, but a smaller church. And then we had the last concert of the tour was at this big mother church in Boston. What's it called? Berea or something? Berea today. So the first concert at 3 p.m., my soloists are cracking. We had about 4 people on the bus sick. And I'm conducting the 3 p.m. concert thinking to myself, I don't know how we're going to finish this last concert, which was at 6 or 7, whatever. I'm thinking this. I'm like, do I cancel the concert? What's going on? So we get back on the bus, head down to Berea. We get to Berea. The church is packed. Packed. The people that are waiting. And I can't really explain it, but I do remember the students amongst themselves saying, hey, look, this is the last concert of the tour. Every man is going to man up and come out here and sing this concert. So the guys who were vomiting on the bus, they put on their robes, and they're hobbling on that stage. I'll never forget the stage. It's like from a movie. It was one of those, Berea, stay with me here. Isn't the choir loft like up in the air in Berea? So I'm conducting, I'm looking up at them, right? I'm looking up at them. And I'm nervous because I know what happened at 3 p.m. I'm conducting. One of the songs was Shout for Joy. And they're singing at me, and I look at my pianist, and I look over at my organist, and it was one of those moments where, normally I'll stop in between songs and kind of talk to the audience, but it was going so good, I didn't want to jinx it. We just kept going, right? But I'm convinced to this day that the students weren't the ones singing at me. It was something else going on. It was one of the best concerts ever. From people who were sick, we were all sick, flu, whatever was going on. But my point is, they were all vulnerable, and they were like, we're gonna try today. And just that act of trying. With the Aeolians, we've had many of those moments. When we won the choir, the world competition a couple of years ago, in the middle of one of the songs, people just started crying, right? And at that moment, honestly, we weren't even thinking about who will win or who wouldn't win. The song was just like, what was the name of that song again? Entreat me not to leave you, whatever it is. Talking about the story of Ruth and Naomi. And in the middle of that song, we got to that B-flat section, where you go, I will go. Man, that thing just, poof, it was deep. But all of a sudden, you had a whole group, or most of the group, really buying into what Chad just did. Right? And you tell yourself, if it happened at one time, how do I get there? All right? Question. Go. When he, well, yeah, he was my teacher, years ago. 1997 to 99, he was my piano teacher. And then he was my chair and colleagues and that kind of thing. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Crucial. Gwen, you want to say something to that? Like, she's asking, how important is that relationship?
Crucial. I've played with Jason Ferdinand for many years now, so playing for different conductors, everybody conducts differently. Even though I still miss him sometimes. On some cues, you have to. Sometimes I have to conduct from the piano, and it'll affect him, and he'll do something, and it'll affect me, or how I will play something, because it's not always by the music. So it's definitely crucial to have that relationship to make things.
For us, if I could elaborate on that a little further, and this is something when we probably take this for granted, right? I tell people this all the time. Playing for the Aeolians is not an easy thing, because it's so much that we do that's not on the page at all. And every concert, it happens in a totally different way. When I sang in the Aeolians, there's another musician a dear friend of ours, he lives in Huntsville. His name is John Stoddard. And when I was a student, without fail, after every concert, the piano majors, we'd be in the hallway looking all defeated, because we just couldn't figure out, how did you do that? And then you go ask John, hey man, what could you show me what you did right there? And his answer would always be, man, I don't know what I did. I don't remember. He was that talented, he just would be making up stuff. And I'm playing for the Aeolians. I always tell people the pianist almost has to be like an entire symphony by himself. And be very, very creative. That drives us. Like, I want the pianist, the organist, to just throw me a loop. Keep me guessing. That keeps it fresh for us. Like, it just really works. So there have been a few times where we had like a guest pianist or something, and they're like really timid or something like that. Doesn't work, right? Doesn't work. There's one time I had to fly Wayne in. This is a true story. Yeah, sometime 2 years ago or something, we went on a trip to Florida. I'm Florida, right? Think this through. Send this guy. And the Friday night we did something, a couple songs, and I realized, okay, I don't know, maybe he'll be better on Saturday morning. Saturday morning was like the same thing. So Villeroy back there, our manager, I said, Villeroy, get on the phone, call John, call Wayne, and we need to fly somebody down here tonight. Because we had a big gig on and it just wasn't working. So we had to put somebody on a plane to come down and give us what we needed. This is a tough thing. But it's a crucial type of relationship. And most of you will be in a concert tomorrow night. Maybe you'll see some of that right there. You see a lot of improv and that stuff going on. Yeah. I was going to answer your question about, you said something about color and chords and balance, and I want to talk about that in a little bit. Monica, you see your hand, and then I'll go to...
I just want to actually have a question for the choir.
Yeah.
Because you encourage them to sing with their whole being, and they apply that logically in their expression, and you see that they're feeling the text. Now, I want to ask you, how does that impact your spiritual life? Because we're all here for worship conference, and I know you're experiencing that, and you're singing through it. And yeah, because I'm a choir director, I think that impacts our choirs when we tell them to sing the music, to feel it, to meditate on it, on the text.
It's a good question. Stand up.
I'm not in the medical field, but I know that, let's say I was sick, and there was a doctor who said, I recommend you do this. If I was to ask him, if you were in my position, would you do it? I would expect that his answer is the same. So when we sing, we have to make sure that we're ministering to ourselves, so that we minister to the people. If we're not ministering to ourselves, how can we expect the people to believe what we're saying? So sometimes we have to talk with each other, sometimes we have to be there and encourage each other. But when we do that, when we're actually feeling what we're singing, we see it in the audience. Even if what we're singing, the notes are not perfect, the dynamics are not perfect, we know that despite all of that, you guys are getting the message, and so
Good.
I think it also depends on like where you're coming from. I remember a story that was told about two pianists, the young pianist and the older pianist, and the young one played. I can't remember the name of the song. It had something to do with Jesus being a shepherd, and he played it, and the audience clapped, they applauded, they were just screaming, they loved it. But when the old pianist played it, they cried, and he never forget to say to the pianist, what is it that you have that why did they cry? And he said, he knew the song behind the shepherd. And so I feel like for us, when we hear the songs that we're singing, we read text, and we like feel the God that we're talking about, we want you to feel it. So we're going to do our best to let you have the same experience as us.
That was deep. All right. Anybody dare follow that? All right, go ahead. That's good. That's good. Let's go a little bit. I'm trying to answer his question. And guys, could I ask you to do this for me? Let's see. 1, 2. Guys, can you just put yourself down these 3 aisles right here? No particular part. But mix it up though. Men. Yeah, that's good. So this is look at Pilgrim's Chorus. That's in your packet. You should have that in your packet. Pilgrim's Chorus, and I'm gonna start at. I'm not looking at the score, but towards the end, you see the men that come back to the section that says "Once more, dear home." Anybody looking at that? It's towards the end. 14, page 14. Everybody there? So page 14 in your packet. So this song, if you'd recognize the melody, is from the Wagner, and this is the big overture that a lot of us are familiar with as an orchestra piece, right? And then William Dawson has set this song, and it kind of features the male voices in his arrangement. So I want to address maybe two points in this. I want to address your point, and then this other thing as choral conductors that we could probably try to implement more. We'll see. So guys, just sing it for me. Once, 1 and 2. Once more, dear home. All right. Can you just make sure you're right on my beat? And 2. Once more, dear home, I with rapture behold thee, and greet the fields that so sweetly enfold thee. Awesome. Could you do it again? Sing everything kind of right on the beat, but without me this time. Ready? 1 and 2. Once more, dear home, I with rapture behold thee, and greet the fields. One thing, if you're a conducting enthusiast like me, one thing that always amazes me, you look at the great conductors giving master classes, especially the symphonic ones, and invariably there's something to do to a student in the middle of the session. You know what that is? The students up there sweating out, trying to conduct some great orchestra, and then the master teacher will come up and say, step aside and watch this. And then he'll get up and just start the orchestra and just go to the side, and they'll just keep playing. And then the point he makes is, so now you realize they don't really need you to play the music. Kind of going back to my value added thing a little bit. So in a texture such as this, so listen to what I'm saying now. So guys, I want you to sing it again, but make yourself literally into a quartet or something and really try and work the phrases on your own. Right? You have it? So you might kind of need to look at each other or something. Ready? 1 and 2, right? Once more, dear home, I with rapture behold thee, and greet the fields that so sweetly Stop. What did you notice immediately? Well, not you guys, the people in the audience. What did you notice immediately? Deep expression. It's like chamber music. Exactly. What else?
Breathing together.
Breathing together. Good.
All the texts just seem to hit harder.
Yeah. Somebody over here said something. Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So let's ask them. So, give me 5 things you had to do to achieve what you just did. Any 5? Kevius.
You gotta rely on trying to listen, so it's not, you can't like just sing. You have to really rely on your own section.
Right, relying on your section. Chad.
Feel the movement in the room.
Feel the movement in the room. Somebody else. Who's that? Louis.
Trusting that what I'm seeing you guys do, that I'm interpreting correctly.
I heard the first word. What you said after that?
Trusting that what I'm seeing them do, that I'm interpreting.
Gotcha. Okay. Mr. Lightbird.
Be passionate about the words and then look at your colleagues and match that and hope that they match that passion.
Yeah, so matching the passion. One more. Carl. Okay, so, cool, great. So I don't know if you heard him completely, but he started answering your question. So, man, I don't know about you, but I'm just thankful for the teachers that I've had in my lifetime. So Ed McClary at the University of Maryland, he's the only person I've ever heard really address this in a choral rehearsal. He was always so big, especially at cadences, about balancing the chord in the right way. So for his ear, he always wanted to hear whoever was on the 1, the root of the chord, needs to hear that the biggest, followed by the 5th. So root is up here, 5th, and then the next thing that just kind of sits on top like the cherry was that 3rd. If you do it in any other balance, well, maybe I shouldn't say this. I just kind of, if you sing it in any other balance, it sounds wacky. So guys, can you just sing once more and just stop on the chord, right? Ready? And just sing it. Ready? And once more. Could I have the first tenors and second basses just sing? Ready? And once more. First tenors, bass. Ready? And once more. Who's singing here? You shouldn't be in there at all. Somebody come off, please. Ready? And once more. Okay, so baritones, where are you in that more chord? Once more. Right? You on 3rd? Right? So, and then second tenors, where are you? On the 5th, right? So, you have to listen to this very, very carefully. So baritones, could you sing your note the loudest on more? And everybody else just back off, right? Here you go, ready? And once more. Everybody using your ear, right? Now change it around. Now let's hear the 5th loudest. Who was that again? Second tenor, right? So second tenor is the loudest, everybody else back off. Ready? Once more. That one doesn't sound, well, let me not say that yet. So, and now let me hear second bass, first tenor is big, and everybody else just back off. Ready? And once more. Now let's do it this way. So ones, second bass, first tenor strong. 5th, who is that again? Second tenor, stay below them. Baritone, stay in the cut. All right? Ready? And once more. Okay, so this is what we're going to do for the people listening. The first time you sing it, I want to hear the 3rd the loudest. So baritones. We'll do it again. Second time, second tenor is the loudest. All right? And then the 3rd time, sing it the balanced way. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but you get it. All right, everybody using your ears, you ready? Yep. All right, here's the first word with the third the loudest. And go. Once more. I don't know about you, but I could barely stand that. All right. So now the fifth the loudest. And once more. It's not as irritating. Another thing. Now do it with 1, 5, 3. Ready? And once more. All of a sudden, I don't feel unsettled by that last one for some reason. You see what I'm saying? So, and now of course, all chords are not in that inversion, right? So it's kind of like, I thought I saw one back here somewhere. You know what a soundboard, a mixing board looks like? And you have all the knobs that you could slide, the sliders. And have you been in a studio like after the engineer will mix the whole thing, and then he'll go back and play from the top, and the sliders will start moving on their own based on what he said? It's kind of like a choir has to be that from chord to... Imagine if a choir could balance every chord. It'll be amazing. But it's possible to balance them at cadences or the beginning of a phrase. Like that one we sing and we hold that, bum, bum, for a little while, so we got to balance it. If you sing it any other kind of way, it really gets out of whack. Could we go from, where do you guys come in? How about just come in when we get to that section? So I'll sing this to the end, and at the very, very end is a nice, tall E major chord, and we'll listen to that balance there. Man, let's speed it up a little bit just for time's sake. Right? Once. Ready? And once more, dear home, I with rapture behold thee, and greet the fields that so sweetly enfold thee, thou pilgrim Sabbath, may rest thee now. Let's go, I'll serve, and then go to the end. Ready? To the ending, and I'll serve, I'll serve my God. To the end. Here's E major here. Yeah, here come the inversions. And go on. And breath. E major here. I know this is a hard place to start, but could you just sing the last chord for me? 1, 2, and. What's the highest note in that chord? Do you hear it? What do you see in the score? What's the highest note in the score? E. Do you hear something higher than that in the room? Try one more time. Sing the last chord for me. Ready? And You hear the B on top there? Huh? It's the fifth, but somebody's actually singing it, right? Who's in there? Michael is actually singing a B. But it's the fifth of the chord, so you don't want it slapping your face, but she's actually singing the B by herself, right? Because we don't need a whole ton of the B, otherwise it's gonna sound real. Do one more time, everybody in. Take a good breath right there. Ready? 1, 2, and. Now, this may not work, but let's try this. Lacey, go up to the B to, who else has a good B right now? Celine, you good? Malia. So now here are 3 people on the Bs, right? We got a ton of sopranos that can do it. Let's just throw all of them up there, right? So here are 3 people on the Bs. 1, 2, and go. I don't like it as much. It's just too much. Go back to the 1. Go back to the 1. But I still need lots of ones, folks. 1 and 2, 3. I just like it where it's there, but it's not in my face, right? So you have a lot of things with color. Another thing that, a rule, I don't know if it's a rule, but, and Wayne could tell you this, where's Steve? Steve, another one of our professors is around somewhere, that we, from a really young age, and this is probably an awkward thing, the close part harmony thing is something that's part of the awkward fabric. And that's why we get groups like Take Six and Committed and all those groups. And if you were like me, you're growing up emulating these guys, and when you start learning their arrangements, you realize that in a lot of their chords, they have a ton of minor seconds all over the place and tritons all over the place. And then if you formed a group like so many of us did growing up, you realize that you could be, everyone could be singing the right note in some of those chords, but if the balance is not right, you just never get it. Like I'll never forget, when I was a teenager, we used to sing the Take Six, Within Me, Lord. You know a little bit. Yeah. Right, something like that. And sometimes between the baritone part or the person singing the second part, like you literally singing half steps away, but in kind of like if you play, you know the chorus, I know we got hope, I know we got hope. I feel like it was an A, no? Yeah. Anyway, like you might have a chord set like this, which sounds nice when you play it. But then when you form your own group and then you realize you got two people singing something like this, which is hard. I mean, and the baritone guy is always drifting down to the E because it's so hard to hold your F. So you're doing something like, it sounds, playing it is fine, but singing that is like torture. So you're doing, like, you know what I mean? But when you put it together, it sounds nice. So you quickly realize, even as a little boy, that, okay, some kind of way, you got to sing this in the right balance for it to work. Or the semitone thing, like if I do this, I mean, it sounds crazy by itself, right? But if I start playing, if I do this, is the same thing as Indian. So growing up, like my friends now walk around trying to sing minor seconds, and people thought we were crazy. Because it's in the chords we were trying to do, like all this, So you quickly start realizing, and back then I probably didn't use the word balance because I didn't know what we were doing, right? I was just playing around. But you realize that the person singing the higher note at the minor second was probably more important to the chord than the person singing the note below it. So for example, that same progression, if I played this, it sounds fine still, right? But it's okay, let me do it again. Did you realize I took out a note? You didn't hear it? Okay, listen to this now. Which is different than... Everybody pick up it? So you quickly realize that you have to start singing stuff in balance for it to actually, one, be easier to sing, and two, to be palatable to the ear. Because if you sing it the wrong way, it just doesn't work. And the same thing with the basic chord. Like you want to kind of have it set in a certain way so it doesn't... And again, like I was saying earlier, the audience is not going to sit down and say, they balance the chord like that. You know what I mean? They don't know. But all they know is it feels good. They sing that E major chord and it just feels grounded and the chord is not like, are we minor or are we major? What's going on? You know what I mean? It just feels right. So that's kind of like a long way to answer your question, but that's how I can approach it. Go ahead.
Why did you get the guys to come out here?
Why? So they wouldn't fall asleep? No. Okay. No. I want you to give you a sense of them working across a room. So, because this is hard. So imagine if I put them in a closest, that's easy. Right? but let's make it harder. Ladies, take a seat for a second. Wang it out, E-measure again. Guys, close your eyes. And do the same thing you're doing. Just so this is even harder. Now they can't see. Let's see what I do. 1 and 2. You can hear them waiting. So right there, that's where they need me right there. So we have a few seconds left, and hopefully we kind of touch on a lot of things. Okay, quick questions, guys. I know Cindy is giving me some time checks here. Go ahead. Oh, yeah. So he's asking, is it sometimes you could have two voices singing, but you could hear that third part? Yes. It depends on the room, and for that to work, the two parts have to be immaculately in tune. If you're not in tune, it's not going to happen. But it deals with the harmonic series that we have in physics. So you might be singing something here, but you could hear like 2 octaves above in the room. Yeah, so it is true, yes. Last couple of comments and questions, and we got to close.
So not all of us have the privilege to direct a group like this.
Yeah.
So those volunteer church choirs where we might have 8 altos and 2 basses,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't necessarily have to balance.
Right.
Any quick tips on getting that balance while keeping the emotional continuity in one part?
Yeah. A couple things to try. You know, you would notice that these guys are not in like SATB per se, right? We use a different kind of formation. So, you know, if you have less of one part, you might need to bring them forward or put them on the ends or something where, you know, you're trying to solve the problem in the room acoustically by mixing or not mixing or whatever it is. Or put the part with more people in the back. You know, some kind of thing. That's just what's the word I'm looking for? Formation. The formation of the group might help. Physical spacing, yeah. Somebody else had a hand up, I forget where it was. Go ahead.
Well,
Last few.
Yeah, I was just about to share with the helping that question also. One tips that we get from Mark Hayes, he was saying what we do in churches when we're practicing basic hymnals, and if they know that they're on the 3rd or 5th or root at the last for every end of the phrase. If we needed, of course, we wanted the root and the 5th. They would raise their hand if you're singing the root.
Right.
So they're aware that they
Yes.
should be singing loud in that. If
That's
you're
good.
singing a 3rd, you know you're not supposed to.
That's good.
I'm a 3rd. So that they're aware of
Right.
last chord, I'm a 5th, you know, something like that.
That's real good.
That helps.
And Mark Hayes is a genius. I have so much respect for him.
I just had a question as to your choice of formations. I noticed everyone sort of, I'm sure you have a plan, but I'm just curious to what you were thinking.
Basically, short version, I try to put people where they can sing their best comfortably. So, for example, somebody with a real kind of big voice, I will never put them in my front row because the entire concert will be fighting. I'll be going shh, and they'll be going oh. So I put them in our back where they could really sing without all that. So I try to put everybody in a place where the sound comes at me very homogeneous. Because I don't like hearing sections. But you just put people where they're very, very, very comfortable. That's the basic answer. Thank you all so much. This has been absolutely amazing.